So virtual private cloud, it's like with the help of this virtual private cloud service, we built LAN in the cloud. Okay, it's like we'll create a local area network on the cloud, and where we create routers with the help of this service. We create uh, internet gateways to get the internet. So we create route tables. We write policies, routing policies to getting the internet, whom should get what internet. So everything will happen on this service. So we call this service as VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Why he called Virtual Private Cloud? The reason is uh, whatever the cloud he is building, whatever the LAN he is building in his data center is through virtual, because he don't have any physical kind of devices, router to create thing. So by using the software layer, the virtual software things, he build these LANs in the cloud. That's the reason he called it virtual. And why private is, whatever the LAN is nothing but private side. So WAN is public. So virtual private cloud. So let me log in into this AWS console. Before that, let me tell you uh, today's class. As I said, AWS guy has uh, different data centers at different regions. So whatever this service we launch, the LAN we launch with his data center, those services, those LAN is restricted to only that particular region. So let me showcase you. He has 12 regions, right? He has 12 regions with data centers. On every region, he has availability zones. So he has minimum of 2 availability zones on every region. It's maybe in some regions he has 4 availability zones, some regions he has 2, some regions he has 3. So let us assume we'll draw a diagram. This block has, let us assume this block as one of the AWS region. Let us take an example of Singapore. Okay, Singapore AWS. So on this region, as I said, for him, he has 2 availability zones. 2 availability zones are nothing but he has a physical data centers, the very big buildings. Those are far away located from each other with some of the 100 miles or something. So let us assume he has 2 availability zones. I'll draw under the Singapore region. Let us assume this has availability zone 1A. This has 1B. Okay. So whatever the VPC, the service we create on this region is applicable on entire region. It doesn't care about the how many availability zones are there. What is, let us assume we create a LAN with specified 172.16.20.0/22. 22 resembles, you'll have 1024 IPs. Okay, so what you will do after creating a LAN with specified region, you may take, it's up to you. You can go for class C also, 192.168.0.0/24, only 256 IP. Then after creating a LAN in VPC, this VPC is applicable on an entire region. So we have to divide this LAN into multiple subnets, and we have to associate, we have to link those subnets to one of the availability zone. So what I'll do, I'll divide this complete 1024 IP's LAN range into multiple subnets like 172.16.20.0 slash 23 and 172.16.22.0 slash 23, because slash 22 resembles 1024. 2 power is like 32 minus 22 is equal to how much? 10. 2 power 10 is equal to 1024. So what we'll do, we are dividing this complete range into by 2, right? So 1024 by 2 is equal to 512. So we have to divide this complete range into two LANs. We have to associate these two LANs. So the starting IP of this range is slash 22 range is 172.16.20.02. The last IP is 172.16.23.255. So it covers 20.x, 21.x, 22.x and 23.x. On everything we'll have 256 IPs. So 256. So combination of these 206 IPs will give you a result of 1024 IPs. So we are dividing this 1024 into by 2, right? Okay. So it starts from here. It's like the first subnet will start from 172.16.20.0 to it ends to 21.255. The second subnet will start from 172.16.22.02 and again it ends at 172.16.23.255. So it's like 172.16.20.0 slash 23 and 172.16.22.0 slash 23. But the complete entire VPC range is 172.16.20.0 slash 22. Okay, like that we'll divide the complete VPC range. First we have to create a VPC range. So we have chosen class B. Let us assume we have chosen class B with some IP 172.16.20.0 and let us create an LAN range with 1024 host IPs. So 1024 is nothing but slash 22. Okay, guys, do you have any doubts on this? Like slash 22, what is this he's talking about? Slash 23. So do you know the subnetting concepts?
I was about to ask that Karthik, this Ravi.
Yeah, Ravi. Okay.
I was about to ask that the same last 22
What numbers?
Okay, you had doubt. Apart from you, I'll find out who else has the doubts on this. Arun, Ravi, can you mute your mic? So Arun, do you have any doubts on this?
No, they are like 22 and 21. They are like port numbers.
They are not port numbers. They see. Are you
Networking
there in
protocol.
the networking class?
Yeah.
So we talked about the subnets, right? How we divide the subnets, how we create the subnets. See, every IP address will IPv4, whatever the IP address we are dealing with is the version of IPv4. For every IPv4 version, we have 32 bits. So
Yeah.
it's like 8 bits with x dot x dot x dot x 8888 we allocate. So you had some idea. So what about you, Bhavin?
Hello?
Yes, Bhavin. Do you have any idea about this subnetting concepts, LAN creation? Bhavin, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, Bhavin. We can,
Yeah, just now joined.
yeah, we can hear you. Do you have any idea of on this concept, subnet concepts?
Yeah.
networking concepts, how to create a LAN, how to divide that range.
Yeah.
So do you know what is /22/24 mean?
Yeah. I know.
Okay, that's good. So Ravi has some notes on it. So what about you, Srikanth? Yes,
Yeah,
Srikanth.
I got the same, but if you could explain me some other, some more time, like one more time, that would be great.
So are you there in the last class when I was talking about this network class? Are you there, Ravi? Sorry, are you there, Srikanth?
Yeah, I was there, but I told you like I got some networking problem at that time. 15 minutes, I missed that class.
Okay. Okay, what about you, Kishore? Kishore? Hello. Kishore, you are very inactive. I see from the past two classes, I hope you doesn't have the mic or what, I don't know. You are joining and you are listening, but you are not replying. Kishore, are you there? Yes, you can speak a little bit louder. What? So at least can you hear us? Can you see the class? Last class you didn't attend. Okay, well, very good. So you missed the concepts of the very first concept what we are dealing with Amazon Web Services, EC2. That's the most important concept of launching the servers. Very basic concepts on the last class we talked about. Okay, no problem. I'll share you the video. But please guys don't miss any classes. So let me review once again this networking concepts and we'll go with this VPC service. So uh, basically, see, in order to create a LAN, first we have to choose what's the LAN range and what's the LAN size. First we have to decide. See, let us say uh, your requirement may be you just need a LAN of only 255 IPs, or you require a LAN of 1000 IPs or 2000 IPs. First we have to decide. Let us say we'll take an example of creating a LAN of 1024 or 1000 IPs. Okay, my requirement, I have to create a LAN with Amazon Web Services with 1000 IPs. So second I have to decide uh, what class I have to create, in which class, either it may be in a class A or class B or class C. So what's the difference for the different classes? The basic difference between the different classes is, see, what happened in IPv4 range. The range starts with 0.0.0.02. It ends with 255.255. So there is an organization called IANA, Internet Authority Number Assign. They introduced a concept of Internet Protocol versioning or IP details as everything, the IP numbers and everything. So what they did, first they introduced with IP Internet Protocol version 1. In version 1, we'll have only 256 IPs. On version 2, we'll have, like, let me show you. See, so he divided completely the LAN range 0.0.0.0. This is the LAN range. He divided this complete LAN range into different classes. he called it as 5 classes. He called it as class A, class B, class C and class D. Guys, 1 second. Sorry guys, I'll back. So we are talking about this IANA. So there is an organization called IANA. So that organization, what they did, they divided the complete range IP addresses range into uh, 5 classes. The IP version 4 into 5 classes. So basically the IP version 4, the range of the IP version 4 is 0.0.02, 255.255.255.255. This is what the complete range of Internet Protocol version 4, and they divided this range into 5 classes and they call it as class A, class B, class C and class D. And the ranges is like this. They divided the first class, they called the class A to 0.0.0.02, 127.255.255.255.255. The next IP comes with 128.0.0.0. Like that they divided into 5 classes and they allocated the last 2 classes D and E to military and research and development. So they given us an option, whatever to create a LAN or the WAN, we should deal with only the 3 classes, class A, class B, class C. So in order to create a LAN, first we have to choose in which class we have to create a LAN. So in our example, uh, even they divided this complete 5 classes into again 2 parts and they call it as private range and public range. Like private range is the WAN IPs. See, um, in your home you'll have a router. Under the router you had a LAN. So first what your device does, your computer connects to your router, right? So you assume that you have multiple devices that are connected to your home router. So in order to communicate with each other, so they'll communicate with these private IPs. Okay, the LAN IPs, whatever the IP addresses that is given by your home router to your laptops or other PCs that are connected to it. Okay, so this is what the LAN is, nothing but. So in order to communicate the home routers or the home laptops or the devices with internet, so the request has to cross your LAN and it has to enter into WAN, because whatever the, let us assume you wanted to ping google.com or you wanted to load the website of google.com in your browser, then the request should cross your laptop and it should reach to your router, and from the router it should cross to the Google server. So it is crossing your LAN and it is entering into the WAN and it is approaching the WAN's server. From there it is, the page is loading. Let us assume this as your LAN. So you had created this LAN with the help of your home router. So while creating the LAN, you have to specify what is the LAN range. and the LAN range is in which class. And what is the LAN size? So here in our concept today, we'll create a LAN range with 1000 IPs, and we'll go with class B. So uh, there are some online web portal calculators to do this. Uh, we'll call it as subnet calculators. So these are, with the help of this calculator, uh, we'll create a LAN. See, first we have to choose what is the class we wanted to go with, either class A, class B, or class C. See, when I press on the class C, it is starting with 192.168.0.0. When I press on class B, it redirects to 172.16. When I press on class A, it goes with 10 dot series, because this IANA people divided. See, because the class A range is between 0.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. Among this range, he divided again into two ranges. One he called it as public range, and other he called it as private range. So whatever the LAN we create, we'll create with the help of only private range, not with public IPs. So we have to choose the public IPs. On every class he has, let us assume, we'll take a class of class A. The class A's complete range is 0 to 127. Among the 0 to 127, he picked up some IPs and he called it as public IPs. That IP, whatever the pick he has picked up is 10.0.0.02, 10.255.255.255. Okay, and he called this range as private range of class A. Similarly, he done with class B. This is what, and he called this range as 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255, and he called it as private range of class B. And even with class C, 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255, he called it as private range of class C. So whatever the LAN we create, we'll create among these private ranges, not with the public ranges. Okay, the leftover IPs of this class, uh, we'll take class A 0.0.0.0 to 128.255.255.255, right? Okay, సో ఈ రేంజ్లో ఒక స్మాల్ పిక్ తీసుకున్నాను అంటే మళ్ళీ దాన్ని ఎంత తీసుకున్నాడు 10.0.0.0.0 టు 10.255.255.255. So he called this range as private range. The remaining IPs of this range, what are the remaining IPs? 0.0.0.0 to 9.255.255.255. దాని తర్వాత 10 వచ్చింది. So from 10 to 10.255 is private range. After 10 what? 11.0.0.02, the last IP 128.255.255. This plus this వీటి ఏమన్నాడు? Public ranges of class A. He called this as public range of class A. So on the entire class A range, he segregated some range and he called it as private range. This is the range. So whatever the remaining leftover IP addresses of this class A, he called it as public range. You got it? So whatever the LANs we create, we'll create under these private ranges of each and every class. So what are the private ranges of classes? Or from the table you can see these are all the private ranges of class A, class B, and class C. Okay, So any doubts on this, guys, on this topic? Ravi, have you got that point?
Yes, Karthik, I got it.
Okay. So what about you, Kishore? Have you got the point? Kishore, have you got the point? What I have said, the topic, what I have said? Hello? Hello, Kishore,
Yeah, I got.
I can hear you. Please reply for my question. Have you understand the topic? Okay. So, Bhavin,
Yeah, I got that. I understood that.
you understood that. Arun, any
Yeah,
doubts
yeah.
on this?
No.
No. And Charita, any doubts on this? Hello? Okay. So, with the help of this online calculator, so we see our requirement is to create, we have to create a LAN with Amazon Web Services with the help of VPC service. So under the VPC service, before creating, we have to decide what is the LAN range and what is the class of that LAN range. So what I did, I wanted to create a LAN with 1000 IPs or with class B from class C. So what I'll do, I'll choose class B. Okay. Under the class B, the maximum LAN range I can create is 65,534. That's what the size of LAN range I can create with the help of class. Okay. With the help of class C, the maximum LAN range I can create is only 254 IPs. ఇక్కడ కింద కనిపిస్తుంటుంది మీకు host per subnet, maximum host per subnet. With the help of class C, I can create a LAN range of, see, you can see the size. It's 1,67,77,214. So I don't think so. No one creates this big LAN range. See, offices లో మాకు మ్యాక్సిమం ఎంత ఉంటారంటే 2000 ఎంప్లాయీస్ 3000 ఎంప్లాయీస్ ఎంత పెద్ద బిగ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ తీసుకున్నాం. So see, you can choose the class A and also you can create with only 1000. మీకు 1000 కావాలంటే go with 1022. ఓకే, ద సబ్నెట్ అనేది మారుతుంటుంది. సో ఇన్ అవర్ సినారియో విల్ go with class B. So class B starts with 172.16.0.1, but I don't want to start my IP addresses with 0.1. What I'll do, I wanted to start my IP addresses with some other range. Let us say I wanted to start my IP addresses with 80.1. Okay, and my requirement is 1000 IPs. 1000 ki దగ్గర 1022. So this is what. So the first IP of your range is 172.16.80.1 and the last IP of your range is 172.16.83.254. అంటే 80.1, 80.2, 80.3 అలా 80.255 వరకు కలుస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ ఎంటర్ ఇంటూ అనదర్ 81.1, 82.2, 83. Similarly it goes to 81.255, Let me write it down for you. .2, 80.3, it reaches to 80.255. So including 80.0 will have 256 IPs. Next it will enter into 81.0, again 81.1, 81.2, 81.3, like this it will go with 81.255. Here with 81 we'll get 256. Similarly with 82.x we'll get 256, and 83.x will get 256. Combination of all these four 256 will give you a result of 1024 IPs. So the first IP of this LAN is 80.0, 172.16.80.0. The last IP of this LAN is 172.16.80.255. For every LAN what we create, we have to utilize the first and last IP. We cannot utilize this first and last IP, and we cannot assign this first and last IPs to our host what we connect in that LAN, because the first IP will call it as the LAN IP and the last IP will call it as broadcast IP. With the help of the last IP, what the router does is to broadcast any messages to whatever the hosts that are connected under the LAN. For broadcasting messages, it will use the last IP. So we cannot utilize this first and this last IPs. So the leftover IPs of 1024 is, this is what. So it's like 1024 minus 2. Why? Because minus 2, we cannot use the first IP and the last IP. So we'll create this. See what we call slash 22 is a subnet. Slash 22 ఈ స్లాష్ 22 is nothing but 250.250.250.0. దీనికి ఒక పెద్ద టాపిక్ ఒకటి ఉందండి, మళ్ళీ దీనికి ఒక సినారియో ఉంది. వాట్ ఈజ్ స్లాష్ 22, వాట్ ఈజ్ 252.0. అదే మీరు ఇప్పుడు నాకు జస్ట్ 256 IP రేంజ్ కావాలనుకోండి, దెన్ యుల్ గో ఫర్ స్లాష్ 24, 254. ఇక్కడ సబ్నెట్ మారింది. Like that, in the class B, I can create a maximum of 256 subnets. Whatever this range, whatever you are seeing, this is only a range of one subnet. Ila, you can create a 256 subnets. Second subnet would be assume 172.16.81.02, 172.16.81.255. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll launch an LAN, we'll create a LAN in Amazon Web Services. First we have to log in into this web portal, AWS web portal. After logging into this web console of Amazon Web Services, we may call it this portal as web portal or web console, whatever, because we do all the actions from here. So on the left side under the networking category, you can find a service with VPC, virtual private cloud. Just enter and click on that. So right now I was in Ireland region. So in Ireland region I had 3 VPCs. So let me shift to another VPC. We can create, if you want, I can create another VPC also. I'll take Mumbai. For every region, by default, one VPC would be there. By default, if you want to create, you can create multiple VPCs. By default గా అకౌంట్ ఎన్రోల్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడే you'll get every region with a minimum of one VPC. So in Mumbai, Amazon guy has two availability zones with him. Okay, so first we have to click with start VPC wizard. Through wizard we can create a VPC, or directly you can go with your VPCs. On the left side you can see under the VPC section you'll find a your VPCs. Click on that. So right away the default VPC, see here you can see the default T9C is default. So under the default VPC he has created me a LAN with a range of 172.31.0.0/16. So let me see what are the maximum IPs I can create. What are the maximum IPs I'll get with this LAN range 172.16.31.0.0. I'll go to online calculator. 31.0, and what is the subnet he has given for me? /16, right? Okay, I'll go with /16. So he created me a LAN of 65,534 IPs. By default he has provided me. So I don't want this much big LAN range, and I don't want to use his by default LAN. I want to create a new LAN. So let's see how we'll create a new LAN. Under the your VPCs, first we have to create a new LAN. Create VPC. The name tag is nothing but anything for our remembrance we can give. It's like we can give my first VPC. Okay. Now here we have to specify the LAN range. We call that range as CIDR, classless interdomain range. So in our requirement we thought to create a LAN range with 172.16.80.0 with only /22 1024 IPs, right? 1022 IPs. So we'll copy the first IP address of that range here, 172.16.80.0 /22. Why /22? Because it gives us an 1024 IPs big size range. So next tenancy. So here what he is asking is how do you want to create this LAN, with the help of virtual router or dedicated physical router? If I go on dedicated physical router, what he'll do, he'll provide a physical router. Physical ante kanla kanpiche box andi. So he'll provide a physical router in his data center. Through that physical router he'll create this LAN. If I go with virtual, with the help of virtualization software, he'll create this LAN. So I always recommend default shared, ఎందుకంటే షేర్డ్ ప్రైజింగ్ అనేది చాలా చీప్గా ఉంటుంది. డెడికేటెడ్ వి డజంట్ రిక్వైర్డ్. వాడు ఒక ఫిజికల్ బాక్స్ మన కోసం వాడు డేటా సెంటర్లో పెడతారు కాబట్టి హిల్ చార్జ్ ఏ హ్యూజ్ అమౌంట్ ఫర్ దట్. Okay, yes, create. Within a minute, not more than a minute, we created one LAN, right? అదే మన ఆఫీసెస్లో ఇన్ ద ఆఫీస్ ప్రిమిసెస్ టు క్రియేట్ దిస్ LAN, it takes, we have to lay out the we have to write all this, we have to enter into this console port of the router, and we have to provide all the details. Like, it's a very big risking task. It takes a day to create the LAN. So we got an LAN and we named that LAN as my first VPC. The LAN range is 172.16.80.0/22. అంటే ఆ రేంజ్లో the first IP is 80.0 and the last IP is 83.255. సో నెక్స్ట్ నేను చెప్పాను every VPC is on region, Mumbai region లో. So in Mumbai region we had two availability zones, right? Two data center, physical data centers, two availability zones. So we have to divide this complete VPC range into two subnets, and we have to attach those subnets to this availability zones. So let us assume I wanted to divide this VPC into two zones. One second. One 172.16.80.0 to 172.16.83.255, right? So I wanted to divide this complete range into two parts. So what I'll do, I'll divide it exactly at half. It's like 172.16.80.0 to 172.16.81.255. The second half would be 172.16.82.0 to 172.16. What is the last IP of this? 83.255. So under this 82.x we'll have 256 IPs. Under the 83.x we'll have 256 IPs. So 512 IPs ఇక్కడికి వచ్చాయి, 512 IPs ఇక్కడికి వచ్చాయి. Okay, we'll call it as subnet 1, subnet 2. So we divided, this is the LAN range or CIDR range. So we divided this CIDR range into two subnets. Okay, so how we'll divide, let me show you how we divide this. So we have to enter into the subnets. These are all the default subnets he divided for the default VPC. 172.31 ఉందిగా చెప్పాను కదా. So first create subnet and let us name it as subnet 1. Subnet 1 name tag is nothing but for our remembrance. Next, in which VPC you are creating the subnet, he'll ask. You had two VPCs in this region, in Mumbai region, this and this. In which VPC? Mine is my first VPC, right? See the VPC-3DA66454, this is nothing but this number is given by, after creating every VPC, Amazon guy will allocate one unique number for that VPC for identification of our, for his identification. And Japan kada, even for instances he'll allocate a unique number to that. Even for volumes, EBS volumes, he'll allocate a unique IP for unique ID for that, for his remembrance. So alane he'll allocate a unique ID for VPC also. That is what this ID is about. So go for subnets, create VPC and name the create subnet and name the subnet. I'll name it as subnet 1. In which VPC you wanted to create? So the recently what VPC I created, this my first VPC, right? Select that and availability zone. So where do you want to attach this VPC? So after creating this where do you want to attach this subnet? After creating this subnet, we have to attach this subnet to one of the region, one of the availability zone, not region. This is what the AWS region. Assume ఇది AWS అండి, ముంబై డేటా సెంటర్ అనుకోండి. అక్కడ 2 అవైలబిలిటీ జోన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, 1A 1B. So we created a VPC that is applicable on the entire region, and we divided this VPC into 2 subnets, and we have to attach each subnets with one of the region. Okay, so we created the subnets. Now it's time to attach. While creating the subnets, we have to attach to one of the region. So while creating a subnet 1 of VPC, this VPC, I'll attach it to 1A region. And what is the range of that subnet? మనం ఏమనుకున్నాం, the first 512 IPs. So 172.16.80.0//22 అంటే 1024 IPs వస్తాయండి. అదే /23 అంటే ఓన్లీ 512 IPs వస్తాయి. ఓకే, /23కి వెళ్తే you'll get 512 IPs. 510 కనిపిస్తున్నాయి అంటే 2 IPs we cannot use. That's the reason he's showing only 510. You give here /23. Okay, yes, create. So you are creating a subnet with subnet, and you are naming the subnet as subnet 1, and you are attaching the subnet to availability zone 1A, and the range of the subnet is this. So you created a subnet. Here you can see again for this subnet also he has giving a unique ID. Then దీనికి కూడా ఒక unique ID ఇచ్చాడు. You can see subnet -AE20EAC7, and the range of the subnet is this 80.20./23. ఈ సబ్నెట్ ఎక్కడ క్రియేట్ అయింది? అండర్ దిస్ VPC 16.80.0/23 అనే VPC లో we created a small subnet, and the subnet range is 80.0/23. /22 అంటే ఈ ల్యాండ్ రేంజ్ వచ్చేసి 1024. దాంట్లో we created a subnet of 512 IPs. /23 అంటే 512 IPs. So remaining 512 IPs ఉన్నాయి, left over 512 IPs. So what we'll do, we'll create another subnet. We'll call it as subnet 2. A VPC లో this VPC. We'll attach the secondary subnet to another availability zone. Okay, what is the range? Whatever the remaining leftovers IPs, 80.0/23 అన్నాం కాబట్టి 80.0 80.x అయిపోయింది, 81.x అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ it starts with 82, 172.16.82.0/23. ఓకే, అదే మీరు వేరేది ఏదైనా ఇచ్చారనుకోండి, /23 కాకుండా 22 ఇచ్చాను అనుకోండి, మళ్ళీ ల్యాండ్ రేంజ్ ఇచ్చాను అనుకోండి, అప్పుడు క్రియేట్ అవ్వదు. బికాస్ see, this CIDR range is overlapping with another subnet. నీ రేంజ్ తగ్గించుకో, ఆల్రెడీ ఒక సబ్నెట్ క్రియేట్ చేసావు విత్ 512 IPs, దానికి ఇది ఓవర్లాప్ అవుతుంది. సో రెడ్యూస్ యువర్ రేంజ్. సో నో ఇట్ ఈస్ గుడ్. Okay, so this is how we create a LAN. So we created a LAN, and we created we divided that LAN into 2 parts, and we called that parts as subnets, and we attached the subnets to availability zones. This is what we did. The next thing is, okay, LAN create చేశారు, very good, and you divided it into 2 subnets. కానీ ఆ LAN కి no, it's a time to attach internet to that LAN. A LAN, just LAN unte only whatever the PCs that are connected to that LAN, they'll communicate with each other, but they don't get the internet until unless we attach some internet to our router, right? So for that, first we have to normally ఏం చేస్తాం, we'll raise a request to మన ఐఎస్పి లోకల్ ఐఎస్పి బీమ్ కానివ్వండి వాళ్ళకి రిక్వెస్ట్ చేసేసి ఇంటర్నెట్ కనెక్షన్ తీసుకుంటాం. ఇక్కడ ఏంటి AWS గాయలో వీ హ్యావ్ టు get an internet gateway. We have to create an internet gateway. Under the internet gateway, okay, create already idoka internet gateway undi by default internet gateway, and he attached this internet gateway to by default VPC. Vaadunna default VPC ki attach chestunnadu. Now we are creating another new internet gateway, and we need to attach this internet gateway to whatever the VPC we created. If we did this, then only the entire VPC, ఆ entire LAN కి ఇంటర్నెట్ వస్తుంది, లేకుంటే ఇంటర్నెట్ రాదు. Now create internet gateway, name tag anything. Let us say my first IG internet gateway, capital I capital G. Okay, yes, create చేశారు. నెక్స్ట్ ఏంటి, దీన్ని అటాచ్ చేయాలి VPCకి. సో అటాచ్ టు VPC, దాన్ని హైలైట్ చేసి రైట్ క్లిక్ అటాచ్ టు VPC. విచ్ VPC? మీకు ఆల్రెడీ 2 VPCs ఉన్నాయి, దాంట్లో ఒకటి ఆల్రెడీ ఇంటర్నెట్ గేట్వే ఉంది. వాట్ ఎవర్ ద లెఫ్ట్ ఓవర్ VPC, మై ఫస్ట్ VPC. అందుకే అక్కడ ఒకటే ఆప్షన్ చూపించింది. అదే 10 VPCs ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి, వాటికి ఇంటర్నెట్ గేట్వేస్ లేవనుకోండి, ఆ 10 ఇక్కడ లిస్ట్లో చూపిస్తుంది. ఎస్, అటాచ్. నౌ ఆ ల్యాన్కి ఇంటర్నెట్ వచ్చింది. Okay, it's like, let me draw a diagram. What we did, created LAN, right, and we divided the LAN into 2 parts, and we attached the 2 parts to one of the availability zone, 1A and 1B. And for the entire LAN, for this entire LAN, we have attached internet through IG internet gateway. Okay, next regarding the route tables, on tomorrow class I'll tell you what are route tables, how to write this routing tables on this router. This route tables ఏంటి అంటే ఏ ట్రాఫిక్ ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళాలి, subnet 1 లో ఉన్న whatever the servers we launch in subnet 1 should communicate with subnet 2 or not, or subnet 1 లోనే సర్వర్స్ ఒక 10 సర్వర్స్ లాంచ్ చేస్తే ఆ 10 సర్వర్స్ with each other they have to communicate either or not, like that route tables will write. To which subnet, see, from this route table I can block internet to, see, I was getting internet to complete LAN, a VPC. If I wanted to block a internet to one of the subnet under this VPC, I can do this with the help of the subnets, this route tables. So tomorrow we'll talk about this route tables. And DHCP. DHCP is nothing but a DHCP server. Whenever you connect some computer under this LAN, whenever you launch the server under this LAN, automatically the DHCP server gives one of the IP address from your VPC range to that server. DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. DHCP server ఏం చేస్తుందంటే, whenever you attach some computer to the LAN, ఆ సర్వర్ వెంటనే ఏం చేస్తుంది, కంప్యూటర్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఫస్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ ఎ మెసేజ్, ఐ నీడ్ ఏ IP address, like that, it will broadcast a message. Then this DHCP server will listen to that request. Oh, someone is looking for IP address, he is just now connected to my LAN, and then it will allocate, it will assign a IP address to that PC from the router range. మీరు ల్యాన్ రేంజ్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తారు కదా, ఆ రేంజ్ నుంచి ఏదో ఒక IP address తీసుకొని ఆ సిస్టమ్కి ఇచ్చేస్తుంది. That is what the DHCP server does. We'll talk about this tomorrow. And elastic IPs, నేను చెప్పాను, public IP is different and elastic IP is different. We'll talk about this also tomorrow. We'll talk about the remaining concepts, our VPN connections, security. అంటే it's like under the security, we have a concept called ACL rules, access control list. అంటే ఆ LAN లోకి ఏ రిక్వెస్ట్ రావచ్చు, like we can write here in and out rules. What should I allow to my LAN, what should I not allow to my LAN. That rules we can write with the help of this ACLs. We'll talk all about this on tomorrow class. So on today class we created VPC, and we divided that VPC into multiple subnets, and we attached the subnets to one of the availability zones, and we created one internet gateway, and we attached this internet gateway to that VPC. So any doubts till now, guys? Arun, any doubts on this?
In CIDR block, we can give any port numbers.
See, port number is different. Port number ఏంటి అంటే ఒక సర్వీస్ సిస్టమ్ లో
Slash at the end extra.
you given there /22, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can create it's up to you. If you want high LAN range to very high, if you want that range to be 5000 IPs, then go for 4094. This is near to that 5000 your requirement, right? Then your CIDR range will 172.1680.0/20. Yes.
By using subnet calculator, we have to give in that IP
Yes.
address.
Yes, by using the subnet calculator, we have to create this IP range, the range of the LAN. Our LAN name we'll call it as CIDR. Our range name we'll call it as CIDR, classless inter-domain range. అంటే మీరు బ్యాక్ ఎండ్లో ఏం చేయండి, ఆఫ్టర్ దిస్ క్లాస్ యూ డూ సమ్ రీసెర్చ్ ఆన్ వాట్ ఈస్ క్లాస్లెస్ ఇంటర్ డొమైన్ రేంజ్ అండ్ క్లాస్లెస్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అంటే ఏంటి, క్లాస్ఫుల్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అంటే ఏంటి. Write it down. What is the difference between classful IP addresses and classless IP addresses? What is CIDR? Classless inter-domain range. Okay. And any doubts more, Arun? No. Next we'll go with Bhavin.
No, I am good. Yeah, understood.
You understood? Do you have any basic knowledge on this networking concepts?
No, but today's, as you said regarding the CIDR calculation and the subnets.
Subnet
Yeah,
calculator.
I got that. Yeah, subnet calculator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Naveen?
I'm good.
You are good. So you are good with creating this VPC and assigning the CIDR range to the VPC and creating the subnets and assigning the IP range to the subnets and attaching the subnets to availability zones of that region, AWS region, and creating the internet gateway to get the internet to that VPC and attaching that internet gateway to any of VPC. This is what the concepts we talked about today. So Ravi and Srikanth, what about you?
Yeah, understood.
Both of you. Okay, very good. Okay. Even I'll share this documentation white papers with you through Google Groups. Okay, I'll mail you. You can see whatever the steps we did. You'll have the steps with screenshots on that documentation. Okay. If you need any help, you can refer that documentation, or else you can ping me. Okay, on WhatsApp or Google Groups. You can reply for that. Okay, that's it for today. Okay, we'll end this class. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Bye. Any doubts for anyone?
Yeah, bye. No.
No doubts. Okay. Yes, who's this? Kishore? Kishore, can you speak a little bit louder? I was unable to hear you. Sorry for that. So DSCP. See, I just gave an overview of DSCP. DSCP ante entidi. Tomorrow we'll talk about in detail. So you on the back end today, what you do, you just make an research of what is DHCP server, what is the functionality of DHCP server. You just read through it. Tomorrow we'll talk about this in detail. Okay. So basically we use this DHCP server for allocating IP addresses to whatever the pieces that we connect in the LAN. Okay. That's all. Okay, guys. we'll end this class for today, and we'll meet up at tomorrow same time. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.